What's up, guys? What is it? Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Usually come on Thursdays, but today we're doing Wednesday. Having Robert Mack on. Robert Mack is a Tom Ferry agent, Tom Ferry guy. I just actually met Robert, I think last year, so I don't know him very well, but I like to have him on here because I feel like we have a lot in common. He likes to hike. He goes to Havasu. He's part of a men's group. So anyway, he's also a top agent as well in Orange County. So I'm going to have him on right now. And if you guys have any questions, what's up, guys? If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys ask us. All right, here we go. Let's see here. It's going to come on in a second. What up, brother?
Dude, no technical difficulties, man. It's going to be a good live today.
I love it, dude. You got your branding in the back too?
This is my media room, bro. We just moved our offices to Newport Beach, and
Nice, man.
I've always wanted a media room where we can shoot podcasts and our videos and all that stuff. And you know how important video is these days. So yeah, just building it out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use the media room for this live. It's the perfect excuse.
That's awesome. When did you move to Newport, and from where?
So we were in Irvine, and a lot of people know me as like the Irvine guy, especially in the TF ecosystem. And, about a year ago, Ryan, my partner, was like, yo, dude, like, you've been selling real estate for 15 years. You got an amazing network. We have an amazing team. You have an amazing reputation. What are we doing selling, $800, $900 million properties? Let's go sell $3 million, $10 million, $20 million homes. And he got me all jazzed up. And that snowballed into us looking in Newport Beach, and one thing led to another. And we found this office space, and we were so blessed to have it be in my budget. And we moved in, I want to say like early August. And
bro, that's amazing.
Still
I love that,
in, bro.
That's
still getting
great.
settled in. So
congrats, man. That's huge.
Thanks,
bro.
Dude.
That's
and
huge.
The cool thing about it is we just moving to Newport, like opportunities for selling higher end luxury real estate have just been kind of falling into our laps.
I saw that. You guys put something in escrow recently, right there in the. Is that called the Peninsula or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's on the Peninsula right there. Yeah, so we're targeting the Peninsula. We're targeting different areas of Newport Beach, and it's exciting, man. Previewing like really sexy properties and dealing with the luxury agents and just kind of like getting used to it all. It's been the spark that I've needed because real estate got really boring for me.
Really?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the business for?
This is year 16.
Okay, so you're like me. This is year 16 as well. So you started in 06?
I started in 06.
Okay, where did you start at in 06? In Irvine?
No, so actually, I was living in LA at the time, and I just really didn't have anything great going on in my life.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a job. I was in transition, and I couldn't find anything. And one of my buddies was just slaughtering the real estate industry, obviously in 2003, 4, and 5. He's like, brother, get into real estate, bro. You're going to kill it. You're a people person. It's going to be amazing. So I'm like, okay, I'm all excited. I get into real estate, and then like the market just blows up.
Yeah.
But I had made a mental commitment that I was going to be a real estate agent. And so I just pushed through. After about a year of being in the industry, I'm like, I don't like LA that much. I'm going to see what OC has to offer. I was in Glendale.
Oh, okay. I was born in Glendale.
Really? Yeah. So I'm Armenian, right? So like Glendale was a comfort zone for me.
That's your place for sure.
That's my place. Yeah. And I quickly realized that that's not my place anymore. I don't want to be there. So I had lived in Orange County in the Irvine area from 2000 till 2005. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get back down to OC and work a different market. And got involved with in Irvine, and basically just never left Irvine until about 6 months ago.
Damn, that's sweet, bro. That's a cool story.
But I was just, I was just bored with real estate. Like literally, it's like you get to December, you get to November, and you're like, okay, how many homes do I want to sell? What's my average price point? How many phone calls do I have to make? And I'm like thinking to myself, like, is this it? Is this what my life is all about? Just like business planning on selling houses. So Newport Beach, like this move to like the luxury market and like a new market, and it's literally one city away, bro. You know what I mean? It's like
still, it's a world away.
But it's a different market, different agents, everything.
Yeah.
And we go out there and preview properties, and the Newport agents are like, "Oh, what are you guys doing in our hood?" And we're like, "What do you mean? Like,
this is our hood now."
We're not even that. We're coming from Irvine. But it's this spark that I needed to like get excited about the industry again. So now we're excited and we've got like these huge goals and yeah, man, just having a good time, bro. You know, this
That's
industry's
awesome,
tough, so you
dude.
got to do stuff that makes you happy.
I agree. I agree. And dude, I did the same thing. I mean, I started, so I grew up in Pasadena, Sierra Madre, born in Glendale, like I told you, and we moved to Rancho Cucamonga in high school. And the reason why I know Eric Crumbaker is because I played soccer at UC Riverside, which I think I've already told you. But I started real estate in Rancho for C21 Beachside with my mom, and after a couple years, she's like, go sell luxury real estate. I'm like, I can't sell luxury real estate. I don't know
Yeah.
anybody. Like it's only an hour away, but I don't know anybody out there. I don't know any of the players, any of the brokerages. Anyway, I moved out there, and long story short, I was an assistant, with a top agent at Hilton and Hyland, and I kind of grew out of it. And now I'm selling luxury real estate. I'm like, holy shit, like, 15 years later, I'm here, but it feels good, dude. It feels awesome. And it's very, very competitive. But I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
you know what's cool is like you don't have to know how to do it, right? Like all you have to do is be willing to learn and work
Yeah.
and then put yourself in that environment, right? So like
Yeah.
you going and being an assistant for a top agent at a luxury
Yeah.
brokerage gives you that in. And then all you have to do
Mhm.
is just work every opportunity that comes into your life. So like I was telling you, we moved to Newport Beach. We start previewing properties. All of a sudden, people are calling us from Google that are like, hey, I'm looking for a teardown in Newport Beach. And I'm like, holy
Oh,
shit, man, we
nice.
literally just previewed one today.
Yes.
Like, all
Yes.
you got to do is do the work and God will put
Yeah.
the opportunity in front of you. Like, that's my
I agree,
true
man.
belief. It's like, just get out there and put yourself out there and things will start
Action.
falling into your lap. So I
Take
love to hear
action.
that kind of stuff, man. And that's why you and me connected, because
Mhm.
at the summit, I'm like, I want to kick it with Paul more because we were in that transitionary phase where we were moving to Newport Beach. And I'm like, I know
Mhm.
he does luxury real estate. So the
Mhm.
more I can spend time with luxury agents,
Yeah.
the smarter I'll be over time. So
Smart.
that's why I'm
Yeah.
excited to hang out with you in a week or two, because I know we're going
Yes,
to
I
talk
know.
about how to kill the
Exactly, dude. I feel like I haven't really hung out with you, but I've seen you a lot. You're a speaker. Tom always talks about you. You have Tom on your Instagram. Like, "God, who's this guy?" He's always
Yeah,
hanging out with
yeah.
Tom, man. That's so cool. But I feel like I've connected with you because like you like to hike. I love to hike. I love to backpack. You've been in Havasu at least last summer. I go boating in Havasu every summer. I
Yeah.
see that we have a lot of similarities, and obviously you're friends with Eric, who's a great guy. So I'm so happy to be on this, to be on this IG live together. But also, I saw that 2 weeks ago that you started a men's group, and that was also like I love seeing that because I was like I've been looking for a men's group, and like I told you, I did ayahuasca 2 or 3 months ago, and I had like a complete like transformation emotionally, and I saw a lot of things, and I had a lot of downloads. It's a very interesting medicine, but it's amazing. But anyway, through that journey, I found somebody who invited me to a men's group, and it was about being heart centered, like how to lead with your heart. And I've never led with my heart, you know, because I wasn't raised that way, you know. I was raised to be hard, Colombian way, super
Right.
super hard. But anyway, so when I saw that you were, joined the men's group, I was super pumped, and I wanted to ask you about that. So, can you please talk about like why you joined the men's group and like how's that, how that's been for you?
Yeah. So I'm an only child. So I think I've always craved a ridiculous amount of relationships because I didn't have a lot growing up. Like I was always just me by myself. And I've always been really big in the Tom Ferry ecosystem. I've always tried to make a lot of new friends because I like those relationships. And it got to a point where like, and remember I was talking a little bit about how like real estate got boring for me.
Yeah.
So did those like relationships. Cause it's like, I'm not really that excited about real estate. And so talking to people about real estate doesn't really like get me going.
Yeah.
And I just randomly bumped into a guy named Jimmy Rex. And a lot of real estate agents might know who he is. He's actually good friends with Bill Pipes, who's my business coach too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had been trying to meet Jimmy for a while because I know he's the master networker and he has a lot of fun in what he does, not only in real estate, but also in like his life. Like he does a lot of fun stuff where you're like, man, I just wish I could explore the world like Jimmy. He's been to like 80 plus countries,
Oh,
and that's a dream
damn.
of
That's
mine to
dope.
like explore the world. So
Yeah.
I bumped into him and he's like, yo, brother, I'm putting together a mastermind, a men's group, where I'm going to get like 100 of like the coolest business owners from all walks of life. And we're going to go do fun stuff. Like we're going to jump out of helicopters on a bungee cord into a live volcano. And we're going to swim in the Bahamas with a shark with no cage. And we're going to jump off cliffs. And we're going to do all these things that break you out of your comfort zone. But we're also going to mastermind together. And we're also going to build like a platform where we're going to grow together and share ideas together and do business together. But most importantly, a place where we can be vulnerable together and be emotional together. Because I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of men is like, you can't cry if you're a man. You can't be emotional if you're a man. So a lot of men aren't really that emotional. And that affects the relationships that we have. Like, especially with me, I don't have a lot of friends that I go deep with. You know, it's like, hey, how you been? How's business? Cool, we should hang out. But like, I'm not asking them about like, how's their life? How's their relationship? Like, what are they struggling with? And so when Jimmy was talking about all this, I'm like, okay, this is an amazing opportunity now for me to not only become more emotionally intelligent, which will probably improve the relationship with my wife, my best friends, my family, which it already has. It'll help me become a better person, a better business owner. And hey, while we're at it, let's go have a lot of fun and do all these bucket list items. Like, right? Like,
that sounds
for example, a lot of people didn't know this about me, but I had been smoking something for 27 years. I started smoking at a young age when it was really cool. And I just got crazy addicted to it. And I'd smoke cigarettes like low key on the side. I'd spray cologne. I'd wear a glove so that my clients wouldn't smell it. I would change my shirts. I actually had a smoking shirt in my trunk. Put on my smoking shirt, wear a glove, smoke, change my shirt, take off the glove, and then go on appointments because I didn't want people to smell the smoke on me. And then vapes came out. And I was like, well, this is perfect because vapes you can do anywhere and you can't smell them. And I just had this really ridiculous addiction. And on the very, very first weekend of this mastermind, one of the exercises was to jump off a 500-foot cliff in Moab. It was a rope swing. And
dope, bro.
And dude, it was dope. Like literally that jump got something in me where I was literally telling my assistant, like, yo, I got to find some other stuff to jump off of. Like, I think I want to jump off of more stuff because it was just exhilarating. But the cool thing was going into this weekend, I knew we were going to jump off this thing, but I didn't know we were going to associate a meaning to it. And while we were there, Jimmy said, we all have something that we're struggling with, whether it's a toxic relationship, whether it's a bad habit, whether it's an addiction. I want you guys to think really hard. And we did this meditation the night before with this Amazonian tobacco called hape.
Hape,
you ever heard of hape?
I'm gonna do it.
We did this meditation where they blew this hape. And I meditated on it, and I was like just super grounded and feeling really great. And I decided like I'm leaving behind nicotine. Like I'm done. Like I've wanted to quit forever, and I've tried to quit a trillion times, and I couldn't. And I jumped off this cliff and I just screamed, fuck nicotine. And I swear to you, Paul, I swear to you, bro,
dude, that's awesome.
I've tried to quit smoking over 100 times. And I've had to white knuckle it, and I've made it a week, I've made it a couple weeks, and I've always fallen back into it. This time was real. And the minute I got pulled up off of that cliff, I just felt this like weight lifted off my body. And dude, I haven't had any nicotine since December the 4th. December the 3rd was my last hit of my vape. And December the 4th was my jump. And have I thought about it? Of course I have. Because it was a big part of my life. But I haven't even considered going to the gas station and getting one. I haven't even considered asking somebody to because the commitment was so strong. And so like, I've been a part of this men's group for 2 months and I've already changed my life, you know,
dude, that's
changed
huge,
my life
bro.
for the better. And I got to jump off a cliff and have a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
So,
I know, dude, I agree with you, man. I feel the same way about some of the relationships I have in my life, you know, about having that deep connection. And I've, you know, I didn't even realize that, you know, I really didn't realize that until, you know, like 4 or 5 months ago when I was having trouble in my own relationship, you know, with my girlfriend, and I wasn't connected to my heart, you know, and I had no idea, like, what does that mean? Connected to my heart? Like that didn't mean anything to me. I was like, yeah, I'm connected to my heart. Like, yes, I'm emotional. I get mad and I cry sometimes, but like, I really wasn't connected to my heart. And, you know, after I did ayahuasca, and I really had this like revelation. Like my heart came out of this chamber. Like I swear to you, it's insane. And it comes out, and it just like, it comes out, and it just gets placed into my chest. And after that, I've been, trying to seek these kinds of things, right? Deeper connections, because those mean more than these like superficial, conversations that about business and about other stuff that don't make, like, who cares, right? Let's talk about some real stuff, man. So like I love
Yeah.
that you went out and, like, you found that, and you're part of that group. That's great, man. Like you said, you've already changed your life with this whole smoking thing. What's the next what's your next thing? Like, you're gonna go diving with the sharks in the Bahamas, right?
So we actually have our next in-person mastermind is going to be in St. George, Utah in March. There is going to
Okay.
be a fear element to it, but he hasn't
Hmm.
told us what yet.
Ooh,
These are all
excited.
design things. These are all things that break us out of our comfort zone. But we have our first men's trip in April. We're going to the Bahamas and we're swimming with tiger shark with no cage. So
Yes,
I'm
tiger
currently
sharks.
getting scuba certified right now. Like I just went through my first
Yes,
two classes. Now I'm ready for the open water. So it's really cool
yes.
because this trip now, like this brotherhood, like I've gotten together. Obviously, we're going to go tiger shark swimming, and that's forcing me to get scuba certified, which is something that I'll be
Hmm.
able to use in my life in other areas.
Forever. Hmm.
And 10 of the brothers of the 50 that are a part of this group have decided to do an Ironman. And they knew that I loved
Ooh,
running and cycling, but that I was scared to swim. And they're like, bro, you need
ooh.
to do an Ironman with us. So I signed up for an Ironman in June. So,
Jesus.
um, and
That's a
but
lot,
it's
bro. You have
like,
a lot going on.
I do, but the thing is like I like having a lot going on. It keeps me stimulated, and these are all things that like the best that I could be. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
I was getting a phone call. Um,
Okay.
these are all things that like keep me excited and keep me motivated to be the best version of myself, and it's all coming from the men's group,
Yeah.
right? And I'm a firm
That's
believer in
sweet, dude.
that like you can't help people and be the best you can be for other people if you don't love yourself. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make sure that like I don't leave any skin on the bone, bro, when it comes to life. You know what I mean? Like
Fuck yeah.
I think
Experience it all.
a lot of people wake up, do what they got to do, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, and do it all over again, bro. Like literally, like
Yeah.
95% of the world is like straight
I know.
autopilot.
I
And then you
know.
look back in 5 years, you're like, holy shit, I'm 5 years older. What have I accomplished?
I
Like
know.
I'm talking to people about like setting goals in December about like, hey, what have you and your wife planned for 2022? What do you want to achieve in 2022? They're like, well, what do you
Yeah.
mean? What do you want to achieve? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like you haven't talked about it? Like there's nothing that you want to do in
Yeah.
2022. So I just want to make sure, because for me, falling into autopilot is really easy. You get comfortable doing
Hmm.
shit. So
For
I just want to
everybody.
make sure that I'm on it and I maximize every second and every hour and every day and every week because, they say it, we hear it all the time, bro. Life is
Life's
unpredictable
too
and
short. Yeah.
shit could happen tomorrow. And I don't want to go
Yeah.
down knowing that, like, man, I could have tried a little bit harder, man. I could have had a little
Yeah.
bit more fun. I could have made a little bit more of a difference. Um,
Yeah.
and you could tell
That's
I'm
awesome,
jazzed
man.
up because I get excited about this stuff. Like, I feel like there's more of a
I could
purpose.
tell. I could
I
tell.
feel
I
like there's
love the
more of a
energy,
purpose
dude. I
than
love
ever.
it.
So, and
Yeah. That's
what's
cool, man.
really cool too is ever since I joined this men's group, you're not the only person that said that I'm part of a men's group. Like it's more
Yeah.
common than you would think. And I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that was like a thing. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to know that like people like you are in this. And I maybe I should do an IG live next time and I want to learn more about your men's group and how can we share ideas and collaborate.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
but
Let's do
I'm
it.
just
Let's do
excited,
it.
man.
Whatever you want, man. That's cool,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your business, because like I want to know. So you obviously moved to Irvine to sell real estate. Now you're in Newport. How long have you been with Tom Ferry, and how did you guys get so close? And like how do you know Eric? Like I want to hear the whole story.
Oh my God, bro. This is a great story, brother.
Love it. I
Um,
love it.
so I joined in 2013 as a core client, right?
Hmm.
$500 a month. I was freaking out. My coach
Right.
asked me to be on the panel for rookies of the year.
Hmm.
Basically, I joined coaching and I doubled my production. I went from like 11 deals to 22 deals in like the first 8 months. So my coach wanted me to be on the rookie of the year panel to like inspire other people to say, hey, this is what happens when you just join coaching. And I ended up meeting a few people on that panel that day that catapulted my my ability to network with the ecosystem. And so I joined the Facebook group and I started to interact in the Facebook group. This was 2013. And I noticed a group of people that every time a referral came up in a certain area, they'd all jump in and be like, yo, you got to talk to so-and-so. You got to talk to so-and-so. And Eric was like the ringleader, bro. So Eric was in the Claremont Upland area. There was Kerry White that was in LA. There's a dude named Brian that was up in North LA, like Santa Clarita. There was a guy named Sam in San Diego. And every time one of them came up, they're like, you got to talk to Sam. You got to talk to Brian. You got to talk to Eric. And I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like they got each other's backs. I want to be a part of this. I'm in Orange County. They don't got Orange County. So I dissected all their areas and started learning about them. And anytime a referral opportunity came up in one of their areas, I just jumped on board like I was part of them. I'm like, yo, you got to talk to Eric. He's in Upland. You got to talk to Carrie. She's in LA.
I love it.
And so in 2014, the summit, I had already sent like probably 2 or 3 referrals personally to the people in that group. And so I was like, Ryan just chimed in and said, tell us about 75 Hard. He's messing with us. So Eric comes to me and he's like, yo, brother, he's like, we want to hang out with you tonight. And we hung out at the House of Blues. It was the elite event summit. And we had a blast, man. We got totally wasted. And I woke up the next day and Eric texted the whole group and said, hey guys, this is Rob. He's one of us now. And I got into their mastermind, bro. So I always tell this story about how I infiltrated Eric Krumbaker's mastermind. But here's the thing, man. Like there's a lesson to be learned here. People, all like lenders, right? Let's use a lender as an example. Lenders will hit us up all the time and be like, yo, I could do this and this and this and this. Send me some deals. And it's like, why would I send you deals? Like, what have you done for me? I've already got lenders, right? But if a lender came to you, Paul, and said, yo, brother, I've been following you and you're killing it in the luxury world. I'm going to start sending you my luxury clients, my luxury buyers. I want you to get an idea of how we work. And if you like how I work, then I want you to give me a couple deals as well. But like, you got to give me something before I just give you something. Like you want my business. It's not the other way around. And I knew that as an only child, I had to fend for myself. If I couldn't be thirsty and ask everybody to be my friend, I had to show them that there was value that I brought to the table with hopes that they'd say, hey, you can kick it with us. And that's how I had a great high school. When I left my junior high, I lived in Virginia. I came to high school in California. I met the coolest people in California because I was able to give to them and they're like, I got on their radar. So that's been my approach as a networker is how can I give you so much to the point where you're like, okay, this is ridiculous. Rob Mack is so generous. I'm going to start giving him stuff. So now the way that led to Tom was Eric at the time was pretty like on Tom's radar. They were doing a lot of big things together. The ecosystem was still pretty small. And Tom was talking to Eric about golfing. And at the time we were at this event and me and Eric were golfing a bunch, like probably like once a week, maybe twice a month sometimes. And at this event, Tom Ferry goes, he was talking about like creating the perfect schedule. And then out of nowhere, he goes, or you could be like Robert Mack and just golf all the time. And I was like, whoa. You can't just talk shit on me about golfing. We haven't even golfed together. And he goes, come up to the stage at the break. So I went up to the stage at the break.
Oh, shit.
And he goes, when are we golfing? And I was like, oh, shit, dude, we're going to golf with Tom Ferry.
That's awesome.
That led to us golfing, like, honestly, until he moved, we were golfing like 5-6 times a year. And that was even, and we even started playing pickleball together, and he'd have parties at his house. He's like, yo, Mac, I got people come over, and like, we just developed this friendship, man. And
that's cool, man.
People would ask me all the time. They're like, how do you golf with Tom? And I'm like, honestly, like, I don't know, man. It just sort of evolved into us being friends, and we text each other on the side and talk shit to each other. He's just a cool, down-to-earth dude, bro. Like, you know,
he seems like
look at him as like Tom Ferry on the stage, and we all put him on this pedestal. I mean, look, man, he's super smart. He's created an amazing ecosystem, but he's just another dude that wants to have a laugh. And if you treat him like that, he's a cool person to kick it with. So that's kind of how it all ended up. And so I'm grateful for our friendship, and I'm grateful for the ecosystem that he's created, because obviously you and I have become friends through it.
I agree.
Sorry, bro. That's honestly, a really long ass story. I hope
no, it's good, dude. It's good.
No,
I love it. I love it, bro. I love it, man. And Tom actually came to Hilton and Hyland when I was still helping out Chad Rogers, and he was talking about his whole
Chad, the dude with the dog.
Yeah.
I remember that cat. He was on $1 Million Listing for a little bit, right?
Yes, yeah. That was he was the first guy that brought me on to his team, right? It was only me and him, actually, and I was his assistant for like 2 years, and that kind of evolved into like a hybrid role, and I had my own deals. He did his own deals, and I kind of helped. Yeah, so I was with him for 10 years with Chad, and I finally left 2 years ago because of coaching, because I was like, you know what, I need to get on my own. It's about time, I was just way too complacent.
That's crazy. I remember that cat. Yeah. He got all buff, huh?
Oh, dude, he's freaking shredded, bro. Like
is he still selling real estate? I mean, I haven't seen him on, like, he's been kind of quiet, maybe.
You know what? Like, he does a few monster deals, 20, 25 million, like insane. He's got a great network in Malibu Colony, which is the most expensive price per square foot in all of LA. It's like $4,500 a foot. It's insane. So I mean, just super grateful that I was able to connect with him via email, and he's like, come and interview. So anyway, I was working with Chad, and then Tom came, and he spoke because of Gary Gold. It's at my office, and he brought in Tom, and Tom starts talking about his coaching business, like, oh, this is bullshit. I was like, this is like complete bullshit. And then fast forward 6 years later, when I'm actually now with working with Mary Jet, one of his best coaches, and I go back and I'm like, Tom came to the office. I'm like, what was I thinking back then, and then I come to realize that I just wasn't ready, and everything that he was telling me it made me scared, like, oh man, like he's gonna make me do scary things like cold call and door knock and do all these things I don't want to do, But yeah, man, like he's built a great thing, and I'm so happy to be part of this ecosystem, and I've met so many cool friends like you and so many other people as well.
Yeah.
So super grateful for it, man.
Totally, dude. I always tell people too, like, they're like, how do you do what you do? And I'm like, honestly, it's just like a hybrid of everybody that I've met through the ecosystem. Like, whatever my coach told me, it's like I couldn't have been here and doing what I do without Tom and what he's been able to build. So, and a lot of my best friends are real estate agents, man. It's kind of cool and sort of sad at the same time, right?
No, but you know what? It is cool, man, because like in our business, like if you're not part of a team, which is it's a new concept, right? Teams weren't around, 5 or 6 years ago. It's a really new concept. Before that, we're all solo agents and we're all going against each other. So you weren't hanging out with a lot of your competition,
Right.
So really having that, like I love going to the summit, because I just like to be around the energy. Like, to me, the energy is equally as important to everything I'm learning, because I just feed off of everybody's excitement and just hearing all the stories of, like, this guy did this and this guy did this in 1 year. And like, it's just so inspiring to see what others are doing, that it makes me believe, like, why can't I do it? And that's why, when I was working with Chad, man, I gotta be honest with you, I was not a believer of myself. I felt like I couldn't do it, which is why I was with him for 10 years, because I felt like I needed him. I'm in Beverly Hills. I'm not from Beverly Hills. I'm from Rancho Cucamonga. Like, I don't belong here. Like, right. I don't feel like I belong here. I don't drive a nice car. Yeah, I don't wear nice clothes. Like, I knew the market. I knew everything about it, but I was just super scared. I was super scared to come out, and once I joined Tom Ferry and I was working with Mary Jet, she just instilled the confidence, and like literally 2 months later, I left. Like, literally 2 months later, I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. 10 years, it's been good. I'm out,
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's been amazing.
You know what's really cool, man? I've been like pretty much obsessed with the concept of fear, and just looking more into it, right? And I've actually been throwing out this idea that I want to start a fear club, where we get like, let's say 4 or 5 people, and we all talk about our fears, and then, like, let's say, for example, like, I'm afraid of spiders, right? So let's say we all decide to go to the zoo and hold a tarantula, right? Hold a tarantula. And everybody in the group, whether they're afraid of spiders or not, they have to go along with whatever I'm afraid of, because that's part of the club. And then
Yeah.
you might say, I'm afraid of skydiving. So it's like, okay, well, we're all going skydiving because Paul is afraid to skydive. And whether I'm afraid or I'm not, like, we just go to support each other.
That sounds awesome,
this
man.
book I've been reading called The War of Art has been talking about, it talks about fear and resistance. And it was basically saying that if you're afraid of something, that's a sign that you should be doing it. Because if you think it, right? So like you being afraid to go out on your own is exactly why you needed to go out on your own.
Yep.
Like
seek
out
the fear.
We have to break through our barriers of fear, because like, and it's cliche as heck, but like everything worth living in life is right beyond our fear, the bubble, right? Like you were there when you heard Michelle Poler talk at the summit, right?
Yeah.
How much fun she had breaking through her fears. So I've been obsessed
I'm
with
down.
fear, and I'm looking for more things to be afraid of, dude.
Count me in, brother. That sounds awesome, dude. Like I would love to join a crew like
Totally.
that, where we just do like scary things, dude. And the more you seek out those fears and you overcome like, dude, it took me like 2 months to start cold calling. This is like 13 years in the fucking business. Literally 13 years in business. I've never cold called in my life. And I was listening to Tom Ferry. This is like before I coached, maybe like 2 months before I started coaching. And I was so fucking scared. And my girlfriend's like, why are you practicing your scripts? Just like get on the damn phone, you know? And anyway, but you know, once I started doing that, I had fear of door knocking. I started doing that. And then like my first IG live, I was scared of doing that. And like doing video, I was scared of doing that. And it's like, now it's like, oh, wow. Like now it's like, that's behind. Like, I'm not scared of doing any of that shit. Like what's next? Right? What's next?
Dude, a lot of times we're afraid for no reason. We just make up these stories and they're all fake. Like I took my dad hiking this past weekend, and there was this really big hill. And my dad's kind of a whiner. He's like, oh, I can't go up that hill. It's going to give me a heart attack. And I was like, look, man, I go, let's just give it a shot. He's like, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. It's going to hurt my legs, whatever. Finally, I got him to walk up the hill. We get to the top. He's got this big ass smile on his face. I was like, so let me ask you, was it as bad as you thought it was going to be? He's like, no. I go, did you actually enjoy it? Because you look like you did. And he's like, I actually did. It felt really good to be able to do it. And I'm like, so are you now a believer that you just told yourself a lie? Like, we just like to tell ourselves lies, and then it holds us back. And it's just a story we tell ourselves. So,
that's cool, man.
Dude, Ryan and I actually, this will be something we can talk about on the boat, but Ryan and I have just put together a door knocking campaign. Because, you know, our average price point in the new farms that we have, it's like $3 to $5 million. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, like, can't knock on a $5 million door. They're going to kick me the hell out of there. But dude, they're nicer than ever. And every time we go out there, it gets a little bit easier. And every time we go out there and knock on a door, we're going to get known and visibility and blah, blah, blah. And look, man, we're committed to becoming the top agents in Newport Beach very soon. We want agents. I don't want to hear that. What are you doing out here anymore? We want people to know why we're out there. They know why we're there because we mean business. So we're not going to do. We're doing the shit that no one wants to do because we want to have the business that no one out here is going to have. So it's been cool because like the stuff I'm learning from the men's group is translating the business. That's exactly what I wanted from the very beginning. Like that spark that I needed. So dude, I'm pumped for this year, and I'm excited to get together with you next weekend and just talk more about how we can collaborate. LA and OC can unite. Just kill it, man. And have a lot of fun doing it, man. I want a big smile on my face.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I honestly, every time I see you, you always have good energy. So I feel like, I don't know if do you ever get angry or sad?
It takes a lot for me to get angry.
I'm sure you do.
It takes a lot for me to get angry. I'm the eternal optimist, man. My wife is like, you're the most annoying person ever. Like, shit will happen. Like Tony Robbins says it, right? Things don't happen to us. They happen for us. Yeah. Right? Like things will happen, and in the moment we'll feel devastated because we're like, man, I can't believe I lost that opportunity. But if you stop just for a second and think big picture, a lot of times there's a silver lining. There's something for sure good that will come from the bad. And rather than focusing on the bad that happened, I just choose to focus on the good. Of course, I'm a human being. I get sad. I get anxiety. I get nervous. I have fears. But I also know that controlling this up here is the key to life. And so I just choose to make my brain and my conscious thoughts a higher priority than my feelings sometimes. Because like the emotions are what get us in trouble. And I don't want to react emotionally. I want to react like intentionally. and logically. And so, yeah, man, I got bad days, but I do choose to focus on the good as often as possible, because there's always good in any bad.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We got the broke agent here. What's up, brother?
Oh man.
So, all right. So I have an appointment in about 40 minutes. So I have to get going in 10, but I want to ask you one last question. What is your why for real estate, or like your why for the year, or your why for the next 5 or 10 years?
Honestly, man, I've always struggled with that, dude. Like finding my passion, why I do what I do. I will say that my wife and I, we don't have any kids, but we do envision a life where we will be surrounded by kids, not necessarily ours. One of the biggest whys that I personally have right now is building an orphanage in Armenia, and potentially all around the world. But within 5 years, we want to build an orphanage in Armenia that's self-sufficient enough to be able to take care of the orphans out. There's a lot of orphans out there that don't have any love. And that's just one of our biggest passions, is to be around children. But that's still something that I'm still like actually joining the We Are the They Brotherhood. A big part of that was to be able to figure out what is my why. The one thing that I know is that I've never done what I've wanted to do. So when I graduated college, I couldn't find a job in the industry that I graduated in. So I became a teacher, because I had a contact at a school that got me my credential waiver. And then I moved to LA to get a job in the field that I graduated in, and I couldn't find a job. So I worked at a tile store because my uncle was the regional manager. And then in 2006, when I wanted to, find a new career, nobody would hire me because I didn't have any job history for a few years. And I could tell you more about that on another call. But I couldn't get a job. So I was forced to get into real estate. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I just got into it. So I feel like I've always gotten into something, and I've just had to make the best of it. I feel like I've never been able to follow a passion of mine and do what I really want to do. So real estate's been really good to me, and I've built out an amazing team, and we're continuing to grow. But is real estate the only thing I'm ever going to do? Absolutely not, man. It's just definitely something that's been there that I will continue to pour into, but I'm looking for other avenues, for not only income, but for fulfillment. I really am looking for something that's going to fulfill me. That's what if you follow Tony Robbins, you know that fulfillment and love and growth are 3 of the 6 major human needs. And, although I get fulfillment in certain aspects of real estate, there's still that aspect of, I'm just doing this because it's a job. I'm used to making money this way, and there's got to be more out there for me than just this.
Yeah.
So
that's cool, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm following you, and I'm excited to see you in a new market. That's freaking huge, man. I think that takes a lot of balls too, just to like do it. That's huge, man. So, congrats on that, bro. Looking forward to seeing you on the sailboat in a week, and then seeing you at Top Golf, and then seeing you at the Elite, and then all the fun.
Oh yeah, man. We're gonna spend a lot more time together, brother. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm pumped, man. Thank you so much for coming on, Robert.
Dude, thanks for having me, man, and thanks for asking all those questions. It felt good to just chat with you today.
Yeah, you too, brother. All right, man.
All right,
I'll see you later. Later,
Bye.
bro. See you, buddy.